Welcome back to another episode of Whiskey with E. I'm Eric. Now today we are doing another Whiskey with the E. We're doing another Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. We're doing another Blanton's. So without further ado, let me show you Blanton's. This is the Special Reserve. This is the Australian release. Alright, he's coming in at 80 proof, which is 40% for everyone that doesn't know. The box, iconically, it's the same box as the original, and you know, the straight from the barrel and all that, but just different color. Alright, now I'm not going to review this one. I'm going to review the one next to my feet, but I just noticed there's a receipt in here. See, look, the horsey just sits there. So normally when you're at your liquor store, everyone's always hunting for different letters, so you just open it up and check out which letter it is. Alrighties, now let me show you what this was retailing for back in the March 21st, 2023. It was retailing for $99 at your local Dan Murphy's. There you go. I wonder what it's going to be now in 2024. I haven't seen any this year, so there you go. Alright, now let me grab the bottle. So the one I am going to open today is the one that came in a fishnet. So if you see them and they come in a fishnet, that means that it didn't come with a box. Alright, if it comes with the box, you don't get a fishnet. Now I notice in the States people have like a material bag Blantons. I've never seen material bag Blantons before here in Australia. It's either fishnet or boxes. There you go. Alright, so we're going to take the fishnet off. Alright, here we go. So this particular bottle, let me have a little read for you. It's the same kind of jazz, but this bourbon whiskey dumped on the 11th, 14, 20. Alright, so, oh my goodness. This is a one from back in 2020. There you go. Warehouse H, barrel number 697 from Rick number 27. Alright, let me show you. So a 2020 bottle of Blanton's, so may as well see how Blanton's was going back in 2020. Now, I'll have a little read of the label. It's essentially the same as the other label, but if you missed it, it says, "We believe this is the finest bottle of whiskey ever produced, affording you extra flavor, bouquet, and character." Here we go again. Alrighties. Each bottle is recorded with the master registration at Blanton's Distilling Company. This registered bottle number is 142. Alrighties. So if anyone has this particular bottle, you can kind of see if it's the same as what you're tasting. Now, this is N, but with the apostrophe, if you guys can see that. So pretty much the last N in Blanton's, you know, right before the S. This is the N maybe that people are always chasing. Maybe it's the harder one to find, who knows. But I am just curious to see how it tastes. Now, I did accidentally break the wax probably when I was doing the other Blanton's review, so it's a good excuse for me to just open it, really. I mean, it's practically already open, so here we go. We don't even need to peel this off. Look, look at this. We've already cracked it. Oh my goodness. But, oh my goodness, look at this, look at this. See, anyone could just counterfeit that. Like, you could just say, oh no, the wax was already broken when I bought it. And then is the juice inside even Blanton's? But I know this is Blanton's, obviously, because I was the one that accidentally broke the wax. Alrighties, here we go. Pause for the cork pop. That was a very not a good cork pop. I mean, can I try that again? It It's still not cork popping really well, but it's all good. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Let me just sit this up here for a sec. Alrighties. A bit of it almost reminds me of rust or bird shit. I mean, that would be very terrible if bird shat on top of my Blanton's bottle, but anyway, here we go. Alrighties, let's put the cork on it. Man, I've been getting a few of these corks lately where there's just a massive slit in it. But anyways, maybe the bird shit color is actually something that may appear like that. So it could just be like some kind of cork issue, which is kind of leaking out onto the actual top of the metal here, almost like causing it to look like mold and rust, which is not good. There you go. There you go. All right, we're gonna put this up here for a second, and we do have another glass. We are probably gonna compare it with the original, but before we do, here we go. Blanton Special Reserve, 80 proof. So originally, I always used to think this as the best 80 proof bourbon, but you know what? Let's let it sit for just one moment. All right, here we go. Hold on. And while that's sitting, for everyone that has missed the if you haven't heard this before, I'm gonna have a little read for you. All right. The finest bourbon in the world comes from a single barrel, and it is never blended with whiskey from any other barrel. This is the way Colonel Albert B. Blanton first bottled his private reserve bourbon nearly a century ago, and that is the way Blanton's is bottled today. It is a costly, painstaking way to produce bourbon, for a bourbon's peak maturity varies from barrel to barrel, and only a master distiller can determine the exact moment the whiskey has extracted enough flavor from the wood. Thus, he diligently monitors each barrel until it is aged to perfection and is deemed worthy of the Blanton's label. That is why our bottle carries no age statement, just the hand-marked information you see here. And that is why Blanton's is the bourbon what the finest single malts are to scotch and rarest cognacs are to brandy. Whoa! A sour mash whiskey of a body, bouquet, and character unequaled by any other. Blanton's is available in limited quantities at select stores. Alrighty, so that's pretty much what it says there. And it says here on the bottom, for women who are pregnant, planning a pregnancy, or breastfeeding, not drinking alcohol is the safest option. And you've heard it here first. Alrighty. So 22 standard drinks, 22 approximate standard drinks is what 80 proof 40% bourbon is. Alright, now back to the bourbon. Here we go. So honestly, that is a lot lighter than the original, but we're gonna compare it after this. See, look, it almost looks really yellow, straw-like. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily call it caramel. I mean, I could call that honey. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's just get on the nose, guys. Honestly, you're not getting much oak. There is not much oak going on here. It is just, you know, you're getting like a slight vanilla, slight caramel. You could almost call it slight lemony almost, you know, maybe that's like a citrus kind of note, but not necessarily like orange or anything. It's just more bright. It's just more bright, really. I mean, keep in mind, I haven't had this for a very long time now. Back when I was enjoying it, I was probably early on my whiskey journey, and honestly, I probably would have thought this is a very good 80 proof bourbon. Now, fast forward to 2024, I barely ever really like to drink anything that is 80 proof or 40%. You know, I do like my barrel proof. I complain about the 46.5%. So there you go. That's not even a longer finish for me. So, but I am going to try judge this as fair as possible. Like, as in, I'm judging a 80 proof bourbon. So let's go. All right, guys. Cheers, everyone. Here we go. Well, honestly, it is as expected. It's very smooth, approachable, non-offensive. All right. It is sweet up front, but the vanilla, the caramel isn't necessarily popping. Like, you know, I think that comes more with more age and more proof. But honestly, and there's not too much oak going on here, so it's less oaky than the original. But honestly, I'm going to say it's a short finish, but you are getting the flavors. There is a little bit of a heat on your throat. It's not necessarily a Kentucky hug heat, but let's have another sip. That was just the first sip, so we're going to get acclimated real quick to this one. Here we go. Mm. Normally that brings out more flavors in things, but that was just very similar to me just drinking it normally without the gargle. So honestly, the oak is just really minimal. It is sweet. It is approachable. You know, equivalent. This reminds me of me having a Weller Special Reserve. Obviously not as sweet as a Weller Special Reserve, but as in the brightness, as in compared to the Weller 12, you know, like it's less oaky, it's more bright, it's more sweet, and it is lower in proof. But you know what? It is what it is. But if you are just early on your whiskey journey, bourbon journey, and you try this, you're going to think this is awesome, because compared to everything else that is 40% or 37%, even something at 37% could have like an ethanol bite, or it could have a, you know, like very nasty fumes, and it could just taste like a sour, you know, like a something that isn't traditional bourbon notes, which you're actually getting here. You know, there is actual traditional bourbon notes there. It's just me personally, I can just taste that it's been diluted all the way to 80 proof, and my judgmental mind is judging it like that. But it is a pleasant bourbon at 80 proof. I have to say it has to probably be better than the Buffalo Trace at 80 proof here in Australia, but I will have to get a Buffalo Trace to compare with this, maybe do a side by side. I think I did say I was going to do that in the past, and I never did get around to it, so now may be that time that I will get to try, since my palate has evolved. Alright, you know what, let's have another sip, and let's compare it to the original. Here we go. Mm, 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 mm. You could almost say it's herbal, almost floral, herbal, because it's just the vanilla and the caramel. It just doesn't pop as much as I want to, if that makes sense. Like, it's quintessential bourbon notes, but the vanilla and the caramel isn't popping too much. and the oak isn't fully prevalent, like isn't really there. And obviously the finish is, it's not going to be the longest of all finishes, being at 80 proof. All right, let's pour some up more. Let's pour more up. Oh my goodness. Live, unedited, unscripted. So here we go. This is the Special Reserve. Now we're going to... oh my goodness. Where's the other glass? Here we go. Now we are going to pour up some of our original Private Reserve. All right. And let's just compare the color difference pretty much. Oh, here we go. Woo! They don't last too long here in this bar. Anyways, all right. Okay. Let's say Special Reserve, the original. I mean, I can notice it, but it's ever so slightly, guys. Can you guys see that? I think you guys can see that, eh? I mean, this, compared to when I soaked it in the red gumwood, was yellow. Now this actually looks a lot more darker yellow than the Special Reserve. Can you guys just see that? It's just ever so slightly, guys. Ever so slightly. Alright. There you go. So that's what I mean. The more lower proof it is, the more it has been proofed down with more water. So you just got to picture, if something comes out of the barrel at like over 60% and you're watering it down, how much more diluted, and you're going to lose that color. It's going to get lighter in color, all that jazz. All right, so you know what? Let's compare the noses. Here we go. Special Reserve. I mean, there is no ethanol fumes. It's only 40%, but yeah, it's just sweet, but I can't necessarily say why. What's the sweet? The vanilla and the caramel isn't really popping. You could say it's almost slightly peachy. I'm not gonna really say it's like green apples or anything like that. You could almost say, yeah, like an apple pie, but I mean, this is really suggestive. Like, I'm really digging, you know? Alright, let's have a nose of the original. Oh, the original is just a lot better. I mean, I'm getting more elements of the vanilla and the caramel, you know, becoming more of a, like a creme brulee kind of vibe. You know, like the cooked apple kind of vibes, you know, it's not like a bright green apple, but... and you're getting more of that oak wrapped in the background, so essentially, I think it's just a better version of the Special Reserve. Well, I mean, the Special Reserve is just a watered down version of the original, but I mean, keep in mind, every barrel is a single barrel. It's gonna all be different, but I don't know. I'm just judging this for what this is. Now, this is from Rick number 15. This one is from Rick number 27. Now, there was a little myth saying that the higher the Rick number, the more better it's going to be. I don't think it's going to work if you're comparing a lower proof Blantons to a higher proof Blantons, but maybe it's worth trying comparing the same Blanton's releases but different Rick numbers, just to see if that rumor is true. Honestly, I'm appreciating the original a whole lot more now that I'm comparing it to the Special Reserve, if that makes sense. You know what? Let's have a sip. Cheers, everyone. I mean, like I said, if you're early in your whiskey journey, you're going to have that and you're going to be like, wow, that is so smooth. Wow. I can't imagine how it's going to taste with an ice cube or if you mix it with Coke. Now that will break some hearts. That will be a funny video for YouTube, wouldn't it? Pouring up some Blantons, mixing it with Coke, but there you go. But as I always say, drink bourbon however you enjoy it. But if you are planning to mix with Coke, maybe don't spend $100 on a bottle of bourbon to just mix it with Coke. I mean, essentially, the flavor of the bourbon and the Coke can just be replicated with a cheaper bottle of bourbon. Just personal opinion. Alright, we're going to cleanse the palate with some water. Oh man, I've been digging through this bottle of Blantons, guys. You guys know that. I experiment, I do all sorts of things, but you know what? I'm definitely going to be experimenting with this Special Reserve because it needs some oak. Alright, guys? Now, that would benefit from this red gum experimentation situations that I like to do. Yeah, definitely. Honestly, coming from the Special Reserve, this is just a few levels up. Like, I mean, if the Special Reserve is a 6 out of 10, this takes it to a 7.5, 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like that. Like, I'm just saying, if a straight from the barrel is a 10 out of 10, you know? And let's just say maybe a gold edition is a 9 out of 10. This is the scales of things, you know? But here we go. Let's have a taste of the good old original. Here we go. Yep. 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 Honestly, that extra proof points really does make a difference. You know, from 40% to 46.5, that 6.5 really makes a dramatic difference. I mean, obviously, if you are a Scotch whiskey drinker, you know, it's like a thing, you know, 40% is like a blended Scotch whiskey level, or, you know, something that is typically chill filtered and not natural color. Whereas if you are going for the 46%, you're going to expect it to be more of a natural color, more non-chill filtered. But I take it all Blanton's has been filtered. I don't know if it's been chill filtered, but all bourbon is natural color, at least. At least we got that. Alrighties, you know what? Let's have a final little comparison and I will end this video, guys. Let's just say, see, like how you guys can probably barely see that, but it is just ever so slightly darker, this one. More of a yellow tinge. I mean, I thought this was a yellow tinge. Could it get any yellower? Alright, guys, here we go. Oh, my elbow. Bit no room to move here, but here we go. Definitely, it's just bright. It's just bright. I mean, if you're early on your whiskey journey, I don't think you're gonna like the oaky notes anyway. Like, honestly, when I was early on my whiskey journey and I tried the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked, you know, I haven't even reviewed it for the channel, but when I first tried it, I just thought it was bitter. I didn't like it, you know? But now, here in 2024, I'm all about the oak, you know? So, that being said, I would probably like the Woodford Reserve Double Oak now. Whereas when I was having this, I was probably enjoying this, thinking like, wow, that is so sweet, you know? Now I'm like, yeah, sweet, but without the complex deep vanillas and the deep caramels and the deep oak notes. Like, yeah, let's just compare it one more time, guys. One nostril at a time. Nah, jokes. All right, here we go. Someone's dog's whinging in the background. My goodness. Yeah, there is just so much more actually going on with the original, guys, instead of the special reserve. Like, it's making me pick out more creme brulee notes. You know, it's more of a, like the brown sugar that's like, yeah, like the creme brulee. It's more like vanilla-y, creamy custard almost. Oh, honestly, if you are a bourbon collector, then obviously you are gonna want to add Blanton Special Reserve into your bourbon collection, seeing as it is an Australian only release. If anyone wants some, message me, let me know. Maybe I could hold it for you guys here in Australia. And if you ever come for a trip to Australia, you can take it home with you. Just bring some nice bottles. Alrighty, alright. But honestly, if you are just planning to drink it, it's not worth it. You know, $100 price tag. Now that was back in 2023. I don't even know what it costs here in 2024. But honestly, at $100, this is what I mean. Even years ago, I would always rather just get a Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Like, it's roughly the same price point. Now, back a few years ago, the Special Reserve was 80-ish, you know. The Rare Breed was 80-ish, you know. And every so often, you could get this Special Reserve at like $50, $60 on sale because no one was buying it. Now, fast forward to 2024. I barely see it on the shelves. It is probably going to be over $100 now in 2024. Am I going to be buying more of this? Probably not to drink. All right. I won't be buying it to drink. But maybe I'll still be investing on it to tuck away for, you know, potential any visitors from America or anyone who doesn't have a Special Reserve in their collection maybe would want this, and you know, maybe they would bring a different bottle that I don't have, you know, as a gift, because I would be gifting this bottle and they would be gifting that bottle, you know. There's no sale things going on because we don't have any liquor licenses and stuff, so it's just all about friendly gifts, all right? But will I be opening up another bottle to drink? Probably not, guys. Probably not. I mean, this just confirms it to me. Even though this is a barrel from 2020, every now and then I might be curious. Like, I wonder if barrels is different. I wonder if a 2024 Special Reserve is better. But honestly, we're at that point of our whiskey journey that we would rather just buy a barrel proof bourbon, guys. I mean, I'd rather save, you know, instead of buying 2 bottles of this Special Reserve, you could be close to getting, well, you know, like a straight from the barrel. Now, I was thinking in my head, like, well, straight from the barrel now is probably going to be a 250. Well, back when it was 180, then you could have got a bottle of straight from the barrel instead of buying 2 Special Reserves. But anyways, let's conclude this. Here we go. Man, if I was complaining on how the finish of this just drops off, this is even worse. But it is smooth for the beginner bourbon drinker. You're going to look at this as it's very smooth, very approachable, very drinkable, very crushable. I'm sure it will mix well with Coke if that's what you do. All right. Original. There is just more. You know, like, I'm even noticing more of the spice comes in, even though I wasn't noticing much spice before. That oak, you really do pick up that oak. After the sweet, it comes oak. Yes, it drops off. Yes, hits the oak, then it goes. But at least there's oak in this. There is no oak in this. You know what? Let's combine them together. Alrighties, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Much love to you all. Who has tried the Special Reserve? What do you think of it? Am I right? Would you rather the original? You know what? Let's try the combo together. Cheers, everyone. Drink responsibly. And remember, don't drink and drive. Cheers, everyone. Well, the sweet there. We're adding in some extra oak flavors. The blend's not bad. I mean, would I rate the blend over just the original? I don't know. I don't know. It's almost like we're proofing down the original and we're taking away the oak. But you know what? I will be using this for some blending experiments. We will be soaking it in the red gumwood. So tune back for that video. You are all appreciated. Much love, everyone. Cheers to all my subscribers. Cheers to everyone that is following my journey. Much love to you all. Wishing you all a awesome Friday if you're in Australia, Thursday if you're in the States. And I will catch you all next time. Alright, guys. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, it's not bad. It just needs more. It just needs more. I'm a proof hound. Alright, guys. I'll catch you all later. I normally got to hold one glass and do this, but we're holding two.